Welcome to another quick riff by the Anodized Chef. I am your host, Steve Anderson, and today we're going to feature a clam chowder, a New England style clam chowder that goes very well with the New England Clam Bake that we have on another episode. So what we're going to do is we're going to get right into it because it's a quick riff. We want to keep it really down to about 5 minutes. So what we're doing here is we're rendering down about 4 strips of bacon. We chopped them up and we put it right in the pan, and we're trying to cook that fat out. And what we're going to do is we're going to make what's called a roux with that bacon fat, and we're going to pull it out of there and save that oil and make a roux out of it. So what we're going to do now is, while that's rendering, the bacon's about halfway cooked already, so I'm going to go ahead and add about a cup of celery, about a cup of onion, and I'm going to add about a tablespoon of garlic right into that, and we're going to go ahead and saute. Oh wow, that smells amazing. We're going to go ahead and saute that right in. And what we want to do is we want to cook it just until the onions are a little bit translucent. What that means is when they start to get a little bit clear, you can almost see them start to get soft. So we'll saute that up for just about another minute or so. And you'll be able to see what those onions look like when they really start to get soft. You can kind of see right through them. It's almost like if you were making a caramelized onion, the first stage of making a caramelized onion. So this looks pretty good. We're going to go ahead and now what we want to do is we want to pull this out of here because we want to save that bacon fat that's in there and make that roux that we talked about. And what a roux is it's usually a flour and butter base. It's a fat content with flour, and it's usually equal parts. And what we want to do is we're going to use that to thicken it like a gravy. That's what you use to thicken gravies. So I'm pulling this vegetables and bacon out of here, and then a lot of times if you end up getting bacon can be inconsistent with fat content. So like if you get a really lean bacon, you're not going to have that much fat in the bacon itself. So what I've done is I'm going to go ahead and supplement with a little bit of butter. I put that butter right in the pan. We're going to melt that right down with it. And it's okay if you leave a little bit of onions and celery in the bottom there. That'll just cook right into it. It's not that big of a deal. But we're going to go ahead and melt that down. And I put 3 tablespoons of butter. And we're going to put about 3 tablespoons of white flour right in there. And we're going to use that. That's going to be our foundation for that roux that we talked about. And that's what's going to end up thickening the chowder at the end of the day. So as you can see, I'm really cooking that in. And that looks like it's coming together pretty good. So now that roux is coming together, and see how it's getting really thick because we're cooking it right down. Now we're going to go ahead and add 2 cans of chopped minced clams, or minced clams, right to that. We're going to add clam juice. We saved the juice from the cans that we're going to add to that as well. Throw that right in there. And then I've also got some clam juice here. And this is an 8-ounce bottle. We're going to add that. So now what we want to do is we want to mix that in so that roux gets right in there and turns it more into a sauce as that cooks. And then we're going to add our bacon and vegetables right back into this. Let's bring this up to a simmer real quick. I want to add about 2/3 of a cup of white wine to that too. Now I know that's going to thin it down a little, but the more it cooks out, the thicker it'll get. So now we'll just bring that up for just a second. We'll add this right back to it again. So there's a lot of different recipes for clam chowder. A lot of recipes that I've seen, they have salt pork in them, like you can trim the fat off the salt pork and you render that because that has a lot more fat content than say your average bacon. Some people don't like bacon in it at all. I like the smoky flavor. It adds a real another dimension to a nice chowder. So I think it's really applicable with this type of dish. But some people do vegetarian style. You know, a lot of vegetarians will make it without any kind of fat content at all. Maybe a little oil. I don't know. But all right. So now I added those vegetables back in there, and now I'm going to add about a 1/2 teaspoon of thyme. Now if you're using dry thyme, about a 1/2 teaspoon. If you're using real fresh thyme, you want to go with probably a full teaspoon because the fresh stuff is not as concentrated as the dry. So if you get in here, Bob, take a look at that. You can see how it's really kind of almost soupy because that roux really kind of thickened it up. It's almost like a gravy. It's almost saucy right here. So That's almost brought right back up again. You can see it's starting to simmer around the sides a little bit. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna add our pre-cooked, I got about 4 cups of pre-cooked diced potato here. What I wanna do here is I'm just gonna add that. And another thing about potato too is that will also help to thicken it because there's a lot of starch in potato. So what'll happen is that'll help to draw some of that extra moisture right in, and it'll act as a thickening agent as well. So, oh wow, holy smokes, that smells so good. So at this point in the game now, we're bringing this back up again. Now, this is what's called the clam base. Now you've got the foundation, we haven't added any cream to it yet, and that's really the last step to this. So what you want to do at this point is, now that it's coming up, it's getting really thick, give it a taste and see what it tastes like. Because the last ingredients are, oh wow. Oh, that thyme comes right through. So I'm gonna grab some cracked black pepper here, because I'm a big black pepper guy, especially in chowder. I'll put it in the recipe in the beginning, probably about a half a teaspoon in this batch right here, and then I'll put it in again at the table before I eat it. So this is really, really coming together now, and you can actually see it really starting to thicken up. So at this stage, we've got the potatoes in there. The cream is the last thing we want to add. Now be careful with cream when you're adding it to the clam chowder, because what will happen is I'm actually reducing the heat here, and you want to add about 4 cups of half and half, or you can use light cream if you want, but this is a little bit better for you. So we're going to add about 4 cups, but be careful now. Once you add the cream, you only want to bring it back to temperature and hold it, because what will happen is if you roll this into a boil, that cream is going to end up shattering on you, and you're going to have like a curdly looking soup on your hands. So, well, now at this stage of the game, you're going to bring it back up and hold it at a very, very low temperature. Like I said, you don't want to roll it. So that this is a New England style clam chowder. I want to thank you for checking us out. Go check out the episode. It's called the New England Clam Bake, and check us out at anodizedchef.com, or go to our Facebook page, facebook.com/anodizedchef. Thank you very much for watching. We'll see you next time.